Hello.
Hello.
We're at Cape Cornwall.
Yes, welcome to Cornish walking trails.
Today our video is all about Cornish curiosities, oddities, quirky things that we've stumbled across in the last year and a bit. We're going to go up there, aren't we, Andrew?
We are.
That's going to be our first curiosity.
Up to the top of the cape, up there.
Yeah, let's go.
CSI Mevagissey.
It's actually a chimney from the old mine workings that are here. It's a draw chimney, a calciner. We're going to go up though because it's got a very interesting history. So that chimney, the history about it that's interesting is what?
Okay, so lots of people can see the resemblance between the shape of the chimney and a tomato ketchup bottle, specifically the variety that you'd find manufactured by Heinz.
Yes.
And the story goes that back in 1987 there was a risk that Cape Cornwall was going to be sold, and the worry was it was going to be developed, and a lot of this charm and character that you see around us today was going to end up being lost. So
I don't want that, do you?
it was Heinz's centenary year, 100 years of actually selling products here in the UK, and they thought it would be nice to give something back.
Right.
And they actually bought Cape Cornwall.
Oh,
they bought the whole
okay.
of the headland here. And the reason I think they did it was really because of the fact of the chimney
Yes.
looking like a ketchup bottle. So they thought it would be quite a good marketing thing to do. But the really nice thing was they bought it and they immediately gave it to the National Trust to preserve.
So
and
that's
to
why
keep.
we're here today.
Yes.
And we're not surrounded by loads of houses. We've got moorland and we've got the beautiful Priest Cove
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
stuff like that. So our plan is we're going to walk up there now, isn't
Yes,
it?
have a good look at it. When I said to you, Sarah, do you think we should go and make a more saucy video?
Not a clickbait saucy video.
So whilst we're walking up towards the chimney up there,
Yeah.
one of the things you do notice when you're at Cape Cornwall, there's two things. One, it's absolutely gorgeous
Yeah,
in
it
any
is.
weather. It's dramatic today, isn't
Stunning.
it? 'Cause it's quite windy and the waves are coming in. But what you do notice is the rocks that are offshore, and they're called the brissons.
Yes.
There's a big one and a small one, and people say it's General de Gaulle in the bath.
Yeah.
Can you see why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also thought Brisson was Cornish for prison, wasn't it?
Yes.
And it was used as a prison island.
Ah, yes, there's a sign. So what does it say?
Heinz, Guardians of the Countryside. Purchased for the nation by H.J. Heinz Co. Limited to mark their centenary and presented to the National Trust on the 25th of March 1987.
Ah.
What a wonderful thing to do. I wonder if companies still do that today. Probably only to offset taxes.
Bit cynical.
Yeah, I'm at that age now. I can see the resemblance to a
It does look
ketchup
like a ketchup
bottle.
bottle, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It's some red bricks, I think.
and the
I think it's
octagonal
like
base.
tomato.
Yeah, tomato sauce, of course, the bricks. They're looking pretty rough. When you look at them closely though, I don't know how long they've been up there. And I don't expect them inside to last this long. They're starting to erode.
Is that the bricks?
Yeah, really fascinating finish to them now.
It means that the bottle is emptying. Sarah,
Yes.
it's been right on the edge, it's quite windy. I've been
Okay.
filming the waves coming in.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't think for a minute I was going to be able to do it. I was a bit worried I was going to bottle it.
Ah,
Is that any good?
very good. What a monument to our mining engineers at the time. It's quite a late chimney, that's why it's so ornate. Most of them are quite crude and won't be half as ornate. So let's carry on with this video. and show you some other wonderful quirky things that we've learnt this year. Thinking of things that won't be around for much longer, there is a church, an abandoned church on the Roseland. It's actually still consecrated ground, but the church itself is falling into disrepair. We visited it, I think it was a couple of years ago. Here's our experience from that day. Where are we, Andrew?
We are at a place called Merthyr.
Yes.
Merthyr Church. Is it St Cohen's Church?
I believe it is, and it's just at the tip of the Roseland, about a mile or so from Truro.
And what makes this place unique is it's actually an abandoned church, but it's
Yeah.
never ever been deconsecrated.
No, so it's still currently a church. It has a graveyard. It's just been let to go to ruin. Behind all this ivy is a building. This little church in the middle of nowhere at the end of a dead-end lane. It does kind of ask that question yet again of where on earth did it get its congregation from? And that's what sealed its fate in the end. Nobody came. They started to go to Tresillian instead, which is a couple of miles that way. And this church, despite being renovated in the Victorian era, 1840s, it was just left to decay from 1945 when the last service was held. Last time we came here you could actually get in the building. It was a couple of years ago, and I will dig out some photos, maybe pop those on the end. As you can see, there's a big wire fence here. Lots of signs saying danger, unstable building, please keep out. It seems that Tregothnan Estate is taking some responsibility for this little church, and Tregothnan is, well, again, a couple of miles away, large house owned by Lord Falmouth. And I guess they want to keep everybody safe. I find it quite a curious thing that you have a church that's just left to be abandoned, and they haven't kind of officially stopped it being a church. You know, it's still consecrated ground, and that's what makes it really weird, because there's still gravestones here. I don't know if it feels a little bit disrespectful in a way to the people that are buried here. It's incredibly difficult to pick your way through the graveyard, and I was always told don't walk on graves, you know, it's disrespectful, so it's a bit tricky. Oh, look at that, that one is actually collapsing. Oh, I don't like that. I don't think I want to see inside a grave. It's a bit like seeing inside your own tummy. You just don't need to go there, do you? Really, no. I think this kind of gives me a slightly creepy feeling, because the brickwork and everything is slowly deteriorating. The grave slab has cracked in half. I don't know, too many Hollywood movies where you kind of expect someone to leap out. And again, same thing. Quite an interesting thing though, isn't it? That they've got these brick walls. Looking at the gravestones, I can't see that there's been anybody really buried in the 1900s here. They all seem to date back earlier than that. So perhaps the congregation was dwindling long before it finally shut. Quite poignant, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? It's almost like they've left the building to die.
Yeah, it's become a symbol of its own death in a graveyard in a way, hasn't it?
It's a beautiful church as well, and it's a very, very peaceful location, isn't it?
It sealed its fate in a way,
Yeah.
didn't it?
What sort of year did this sort of cease?
The last service was in July 1945.
Oh, that's interesting. Did you see, there's a grave down there in particular I wanted to show you.
Oh!
Come with me. Try and turn this around. Hey, there we are, look. Do you know, I lost you. I went one way, you went the other, and I thought I'd meet you at the other side, and I went all the way around and you weren't there and you'd moved. I thought, where's she gone? thought she'd probably taken a
Fallen
sneak.
in one of these graves the
I
other
thought you'd
day.
taken a sneak inside when we were not allowed to.
Yeah, I thought you'd done that.
No, I haven't. I've been very good today. I've been very good. So we came here, what, over a year ago? About a year and a half ago?
Ruin Lanihorn when we did that.
Oh, that must be nearly 2 years ago. But we came in the winter, didn't we? And I got some beautiful shots here of little snowdrops.
Yeah, yeah.
I might have those at home. I'll try and dig them out.
Did we take any video at the time?
I was just mulling that over. I think if we did, it was possibly a very short piece, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was stills we took.
Yeah, I think so too.
Anyway.
Right, where are we going?
Down there. Follow my wet footprints.
Oh, soft. Didn't like it.
Can you read that?
In loving memory of Louisa, beloved wife of Ernest Henry May, who died February 11th, 1941. Now that's what I was looking for. So that must have been one of the last graves.
That's what I was thinking.
Because all I was saying earlier, that all I could see was ones pre-1900. Oh wow. Of course there could be other ones that just don't have headstones.
Did you also notice that some of the headstones are actually in the cornered off area? I mean, obviously, you know, their immediate families would be long gone by now, but it's a shame that if you were trying to trace back your ancestry and you particularly wanted to go to one of those graves, you can't actually get into them anymore.
No access anymore. Apparently as well, there was like text written or inscribed on the plasterwork inside, and it's a pity that you can't get in to kind of see if it's still there now, isn't it? I doubt it with all the weathering and what it's had to put up with, don't you?
I've tried to film a few shots looking through the windows.
Yeah.
It's quite an eerie glimpse, isn't it?
It is. It's like Miss Havisham's, isn't it?
It does feel like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think people have great expectations of this video?
Will they be sorely disappointed?
They will, won't they? Do you think I can still touch it? That's what I want to do. I just want to touch the building.
No.
I'm nearly there, Sarah.
No. Oh, yes.
Yay! Thumbnail. Oi. I will tell Lord Falmouth. He will tell you off. He will not be impressed. So that would have been the entrance, though, isn't it? That would have been the old porch. We can still see. You can actually see the curved stonework there. I don't know if it's coming out on camera.
Just about making out.
Yeah.
Imagine all excited going in there on your wedding day to have your little baby christened. Kind of sad, really, to think that the rhythm of life once beat its heart here with births, christenings, marriages, funerals. And now it's just quiet, abandoned, empty. So if you find yourself with an hour or so spare and you're brave enough to attempt the narrow lanes that bring you down to Merthyr, it's quite fascinating to come and just see what happens in quite a short space of time. So 1945 is how many years? 55 and 20, 76 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's
quickly this has
happened quite
fallen
quickly.
into disrepair. I mean, as I said, we were here probably maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was in better condition
Where you
then,
could
wasn't
go
it?
in and, yeah, I mean, you didn't have as much vegetation and ivy over the top of it.
And you
could
certainly
make it
didn't
out
have
clearer.
tall trees, did we?
No.
We'll have to look at the photos. I'm going to have to go home and get the photos.
So I know we can't go in, and it's a shame because we really wanted to show you this. And as Sarah said, if you do find yourself in this area, it's still worth a visit.
Today we're walking to Rogers Tower.
I've been wanting to do this walk for ages, Sarah. You could say it's been on my bucket list.
Ah! We'll get a view in a minute. Oh, I've just spotted the turrets. They're so cute. Look at that. Let's get up there. And the south coast is now opening up to us, and you can see all the way down to the Lizard. You can see Goonhilly. Oh, it's amazing. Just picking out places that we know. Godolphin Hill. I love doing this. We did it. We found it. Look at that. that? So we have Roger's Tower, we have a bucket. Let's try and recreate that shot.
Right, just ever so tiny to there. Go back a bit. Right, and just come to me.
Ta-da! Yay! I think we did it. That looked pretty good. Anyway, just to tell you a little bit more, this is actually called Castle and Dinus, which in Cornish can mean castle, castle, fortress and castle. That, you get the idea. And there is an old Iron Age fort in this area, and you can see the old banks, and it's thought that this castle was actually made from some of the stones used to build those old castle walls. Archaeologists don't quite approve. But look what we've got. We've got this fantastic little folly that you can actually go in, and the windows frame views beautifully. I'm going to go inside and have a little look. It's so cute. It actually does look like a seaside sandcastle bucket. It's perfect. Oh, look at this. 1, 2, door, 3, 4 windows, and a brilliant view of the mount. All the way up the coast, the north coast of Cornwall, through that window, and then this window, all the way to the lizard. I love this. This is brilliant. Through the door you can see Mounts Bay, and then over here got a view, maybe a little spoiled by the quarry, down to Penzance.
This being a folly is really a building without purpose, but we think there's maybe 2 reasons why this was built. One, just because it's really pretty. He was quite a wealthy landowner and he built this for his daughters as maybe a picnic spot. The second theory is that this was in 1798 and it was at a time where the Napoleonic Wars were going on, and this whole area here commands a most magnificent view of Mounts Bay, so it could have been for defence as a lookout. Eighteen, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24.
Are you alright?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm counting the blades of grass.
Why?
Well, have you not heard the story of Wild Harris? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this comes from this book. This is a book by Bob Acton. It's one of his walk books around the St Ives area. And it says in here, it is no surprise that a well-known ghost story is associated with this place. This concerned Wild Harris, one of several ghosts of the Harris family of Carnegie, an old manor house near Rismoran. The ghosts were exorcised by Parson Polkinghorne of St Ives, and Wild Harris was condemned to count the grass blades within the inner enclosure at Castle and Dinus. His soul was denied rest until he was able to arrive at the same total 9 times in succession. 9 times.
There you go then.
Where was I? Oh, 18, 19, 20, 21. This might take a while. Come back in a minute. 4,923,014. 4,900,200. Hang on. No wonder he was wild. I'd be furious if I had to do this. Livid.
Oh, have you seen that?
I'm going to count them. How many did you say there were?
133.
Okay. Ready?
Yes.
half. Okay. Half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
As ever, he's off like a shot. He'll probably do his running up there in a minute. I won't be there to film it. I'm going to do the leisurely ascent.
106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111.
What are you on now?
120, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Ah, hang on. What was I on?
I don't know.
Ah.
I have to go back down and do it again.
Oh. There we go. 25, 27, 28. You right?
Yeah. What are you up to?
100 and...
You've forgotten again.
Oh, God. Oh, come on.
Some beans, my lord.
Yeah.
Look at this. King Doniot stone. Let's go and have a look. These two stones have caused some mystery over the years. There is some clues, so that clue up there makes them think that there was a cross that would have sat on top where that square bit is cut out, and you'd have had a Celtic cross sat on top, and it would have been taller. And over here is a Latin inscription, and there is a D, an O, an N, an I. The E is here, the I is there, and the T is kind of off here, and then the rest of the inscription in Latin down below. So the Latin inscription has been translated, and there's a couple of differing translations to what it means, but basically King Doniot asked for this stone to be put up. One thought is that he was asking people who were travelling this road if this had been a Celtic cross and that was his memorial. When they said a prayer to the Celtic cross, say one for him as well. But it was definitely for his soul's sake.
So they think that both of these stones were at some point a plinth to a taller memorial. And you can actually see on the smaller stone here, King Doniot's stone, there is some sort of recess where that would have sat. Now whether that would have been out of timber or whether that would have been granite as well, I don't know. Can you imagine them being taller? It's so impressive.
This is quite marvellous to think how old this is, and there are a number of accounts and accounts. One that we know of, written by Davies Gilbert. Now he relates his visit here in 1802, and he found the stone on the floor, and he was intrigued by this because he'd read an earlier account that dates back to like the reign of King Charles II, so you're talking the 1660s, 1670s, where some tinners decided with pickaxes and spades to come here and find treasure. They thought this was like a burial grave and they would find some treasure. So they were digging away, and so they found this vault, this vaulted room, and they described it in the account with like a confessional, a couple of benches with a confessional in it. They were so spooked, they just legged it. They put earth and turf over the top and they were gone. So the stone lay on this floor for quite a while.
So you were saying that Davies Gilbert then, when he came in 1802, the smaller of the stones, King Doniot's stone, was on its side in a pit?
Yes.
And there was like some sort of burial, or they think it was some sort of burial chamber underneath?
I think subsequent archaeological digs found not a 6-foot vaulted chamber,
Yeah.
but a cross-shaped
Okay.
void.
And this obviously marks that sort of spot then. And
Yes.
this stone's obviously been
Put upright again,
put up
yeah,
again, hasn't it? Yeah.
in its final position.
So King Doniot then, he died at Galliford Falls,
Indeed.
and there's some dispute whether he drowned there, whether it was an accident or more deliberate, a bit more sinister.
Yes. Maybe he upset a Saxon king or lord.
Well, let's not do that then. Could be the end of our YouTube career.
No.
We might end up there next to him.
One of the things I love about this most of all, you've got this really well kept area, English heritage, fantastic. The daffodils, they look stunning. There's a big slab of granite here, and if you stand up here, you can see for miles, you can see St Clear, Liskeard in the valley, and then straight out to sea. And up there, the pale, distant hills of Bodmin Moor. Actually, on second thoughts, I think that might be Dartmoor. It's weird to think that at the time of King Doniot, Cornwall wasn't as small as it is now. It used to be part of Devon as well. Then we'd have made them do jam first. Tractor.
Follow that tractor.
Oh, I'm really pleased we did that. It kind of puts you in touch with Cornishness and Cornish heritage, doesn't it?
Really feel rooted in history when you go to somewhere like that, 'cause it's over 1,000 years ago.
I know.
And to think, you know, there was, you know, a king of Cornwall at that point, wasn't it? And I think we should start a petition for a new king of Cornwall.
Who's going to be king of Cornwall?
Don't know. Put your name. Yeah. I don't know.
You didn't think that one
Didn't
through,
think that one
did
through,
you?
right.
Oh, it makes me feel so proud that there was a king of Cornwall. Yay! Several kings of Cornwall. Now, there is some thought that A, he wasn't the only one, and B, he wasn't the last one.
No, that's right, but I think he's the last one where there's actual proof, documentation that he was a king of Cornwall.
A real human being, as opposed to Arthur.
Yes.
That's more mythical.
Yeah, so you think of King Arthur, that's the first thing you think of, isn't it, when you think of kings of Cornwall? And he's a mythical character, allegedly, isn't
That
he?
whole story is, isn't it?
Yes.
But Doniot was the actual real thing, flesh and blood, king of Cornwall.
Yeah, in a funny way, I feel we've paid our respects to King Doniot. I'm glad we've come to that.
Yeah, me too. So whilst we're in Gorin Haven, we've got some research with us, and we found out there's a street here called Rattle Street. So should we go and find it, and then I'll tell you why it got its name. Have you found it?
I have. Here on the right.
Oh, look. Rattle Street. Oh, restored by Cornwall County Council. Now, I'll explain that in a minute. Notice the cobblestones. And the noisy seagulls. What are those two?
You got an audience.
Yeah, got two cats at the window, it's so cute. Anyway, it says of Rattle Street, if you can hear me above the seagulls, that it's a very old part of the village. And it's so cool because of the cobblestones which rattled when the carts went over.
Gosh, they brought carts down here.
Yeah, no,
It's
they
really
were.
narrow, isn't it?
The reason it's been restored, like the sign says, is they were dug up.
Ah.
And when South West Water came along, they dug up all the cobbles, but they put them back.
Gosh, it is narrow though, isn't it?
So we're going to have a look. This is absolutely beautiful. Smuggler's House. Look at that. Oh, I'll get some shots of that in a minute. There's no symmetry to the windows at all. Have you seen that one? In the middle. Must be like in the loft space somehow. Intriguing. I'd love to know how it works inside.
Rattle Street, you said, got its name from the horse and carts coming up here. Is it on cobblestones making noise? Come with me, I want to do an experiment.
You haven't got a cart.
So would you agree, Sarah, this is probably the narrowest point in Russell Street?
I agree. That windowsill.
This is my experiment. I want to see how wide this is. And I left my tape measure at home, but I have brought my dog. That's it. You stay there. Let's get the tail out. Yeah, so the tail's touching the wall.
It's a good
So
boy.
one dog.
Yeah. Walk.
Good boy.
Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. He's not having any of it.
Russell Street is officially 2 dogs wide.
Is that right, dog?
It is. Good boy. Always a good boy. Always a good boy. Always a good boy. Yes, you are.
Daddy, I'd much rather go on the beach, please. Is that the most useless bit of information we've ever given our viewers?
Probably, yeah.
Where does it go? Oh, it comes out opposite the loos. Do you want to rattle around again now?
So come on.
See those roses? Look at them. Abundant. Right, let's go rattling over the cobbles again. So,
hello.
We're now looking for a green door.
We are looking for a green door.
Tatty green door. That's got a reputation.
You can't describe it as tatty.
Okay, a green door with a patina.
Oh, that's better.
That sounds arty, doesn't it? So, we're going behind St Ives Bakery. I'm following you, Andrew. What?
Wonderful green door.
Okay. Oh wow. Right. Not sure if you've seen online, there's been a few photographs been posted on Flickr and Instagram of a green door in St Ives. It's a wonderful old door, meant to be about 200 years old. It has flaking paint and it has the most beautiful flowers outside. Lots of people photograph it, so we thought we'd try and find it today. Gosh, it doesn't look like it's been touched for 200 years, does it? Have you noticed as well, they've got 2 door knockers.
They have, haven't they? Perhaps they're deaf.
Now the story goes, doesn't it, that the Tate Galleries actually offered the owner of this property money, they won't disclose how much, for this door.
As an art installation?
Yeah. And the other thing is that it goes straight onto their lounge, and when the owners can see children outside having their photographs taken, they'll knock from the inside and frighten the wits out of children, which is a fantastic prank.
But a lot of people come to St Ives and want to find the green door and have their photo taken in front of it, and then they put it on social media.
Yeah.
So it's become known as the St Ives green door.
Let's do that in a minute then. So we were trying to figure this out at home. What is it about this door? Is it because it's still original, that it hasn't been replaced with a PVC door? That it looks old, you can feel the age on it, and if only doors could talk, what could they tell you about the goings on that have passed through there over the years?
So it's supposed to be over 200 years old.
Yeah.
And you can't actually see the paint is sort of peeling off there. Somebody told me that was Shaking Stevens' holiday home.
Oh no. Did you notice these numbers on the door frame? Is it the date that the door frame was added to the house? Nobody knows. It could easily be challenged. After all, they're on the frame, they're not on the door. So does it date the door? I'm not so sure. What do you think? What do you think then?
My door at home looks older.
Just to put some context on the age of that door, if you take it back 210 years, that goes to 1812. And all I can think about is Tchaikovsky's 1812 overture. Now that's ridiculous, isn't it? But that's like the era of Napoleon and the Napoleonic Wars. The Georgian dynasty was on the throne in England.
Sounds like a very long time
It
ago.
does, doesn't it? Wow. I suppose it is quite unusual to have a door that old.
I'll ask my mum about it, she might remember it going in. Sarah,
Yes.
that door we were looking at earlier, that green door,
Yes.
is it 207 years old?
Yes.
I found one that's 208 years old.
Oh, where?
Here, look. Look who would paint that.
What's your proof?
Ain't got none.
Ah! Oh yes, look, low tide and Merlin's Cave. These steps aren't too bad. They'd be even easier if I didn't have a very boisterous puppy. You're wrapped around me, darling. No, you can't go that way. I'm
Chaos.
stuck.
Puppy chaos.
Oh, it's harder filming with the puppy, isn't it? oh, sorry. Okay, I've got him.
You got him? Sure?
Yeah, I've got him. You go on, I'll wait. I don't like this. Okay,
That was fun.
I'm on 2 feet. That's good news.
So Sarah,
Yeah.
when I was at home doing a little bit of research about Merlin's Cave,
Yeah.
there was something that I spotted which I didn't know about.
Okay.
And I know you don't know about it either.
Go on.
So if you come with me,
Yeah.
I will show you what I'm talking about.
Oh, come on then. Where are we going? Back in?
Well, back towards the cave,
Yeah.
when you should look for something on the wall just before you go in. Go and have a look. See if you can find it.
Found it.
Go on.
Crumbling rock sign.
No, it's not that. Go on.
I'm going to follow you then. It is the crumbling rock sign.
The cave entrance is just here.
Yes.
What can you see?
Rocks.
Have a closer look. Have
Have
you seen it?
Yes. Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
You like that?
I do like that. I like that a lot. There it is. I think that's incredible.
Do you like it?
I do.
Yeah, I like it as well. But when it first went in 2016, it was actually commissioned by English Heritage.
Oh,
A
really?
local sculptor did it. Went in the February of 2016, but there was a lot of uproar apparently at the time. A lot of people said it was a form of vandalism because English Heritage should be looking after and conserving this site.
Okay.
And if they're allowed to do that, what's to stop other people putting their own type of graffiti or art around?
But that's beautiful.
I know,
isn't
and
it?
it's quite subtle, and it's at the entrance to the cave here.
It's not destructive, it's
So,
enhancing.
It was actually, lots of people said it was a form of vandalism. Now,
Yeah, but then-
ironically, later that year, in May, have a closer look at that, because it's been alleged it's been vandalised.
The nose is missing.
Yeah, part of the nose is missing.
It's just getting distracted
Yeah.
by a puppy.
Go nuts.
It is, isn't it? Look at it. Woo. Full of energy.
Whee.
Oh,
It's interesting, isn't it?
it is.
So it's not very big, is it?
Look, this whole site, you've got to admit, oh, I'm falling off the rock now. You've got to admit this whole site is about luring the tourists here, isn't it? The statue of Arthur could be seen as distracting to the site. The bridge was really
Bridge, yeah,
controversial.
yeah.
It's yet another controversial thing that brings attention and tourism to this site, really, isn't it? Look, its nose is missing. Beautiful. I like it. I really like that.
That's beach vandalism.
Oh my
Look at that.
lord, we're going to start a controversy. Well done, boy. Yeah, well done. Oh my goodness. Oh! It's over there!
Yeah. So there's an abandoned
Oh.
building over there. It might be a bit too far away to make it out on camera. It's
Yeah.
just up from the little inlet there.
So it's incredibly steep here, isn't it?
Yeah. We're
It's vertical cliff.
just trying to be a bit careful with the dogs, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we'll put the cameras away and just concentrate on keeping these two
Yeah.
and ourselves safe. We've got some treats.
I'm just going to show people the view. Look at that. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. So we've read that this section of the coast path is strenuous. We've not done it before, and I think this up and down section would certainly make the grade for me. Quite chunky steps, and they go all the way down into the valley, and we're going to go over to that little ruined cottage. I can't wait to get over there. I'm so excited. Gosh, I don't like this. I know it's not coming out on camera, but this is quite steep, and I'm glad it's not slippery. Oh my goodness! Ooh, look at that! Oh wow! It looks like a lovely little cove, but I'm not quite sure if you can get down there. It's really slippery and muddy at the moment. It's probably easier to get down there in the summer. And the name, that Parado, gives you that sense of paradise, doesn't it? But I'm not going down there today, unfortunately. It's one for the future. We've just dug out the pamphlet that we had at Veryan Castle, and there's a very good reason for that. We're in front of a cottage here. It was probably a 2-roomed cottage. The upstairs is a cob wall construction. It was probably thatched, and you probably got up to the upper floor with a ladder. So it's a very basic, humble dwelling. It was built by someone called Mallet, and he lived with his wife in Veryan where they got married. However, he spent a lot of his time down here fishing from this cove. He would return to Veryan and his wife at weekends with the catch. In 1840, or about that sort of time, he decided to emigrate to Australia, and he left his wife behind. I mean, they obviously didn't get on that well, did they? Anyway, it says in the pamphlet, about 120 years later, by an extraordinary coincidence, the trust farm tenant for the area, Mr. Neville Quinney, picked up 2 Australian hitchhikers east of Bristol. One of them was Tina Mallet, and she was the great-granddaughter of the fisherman Mallet, and she was returning to her Cornish roots here. How extraordinary! What are the chances? Oh. That would have been the fireplace, wouldn't it? It's tiny. So there would have been a downstairs and an upstairs. 2 rooms.
I wonder where they'd had the ladder then.
Here.
Yeah. So you can clearly make out where the cob would have been above, isn't it?
Yes, clear line.
I think the trust have done some sort of work here just to keep it sort of in check.
I always thought cob by its very nature washed away, but if you look at the corner you can see 2 different colours.
What is in cob then? It's more like a...
Isn't it kind of like a mixture of mud, manure and straw and compacted together? If you've got like a clay type soil, I thought, but
this must have been a traditional means of building a cottage like this back then.
Yeah.
Gosh. It's very well kept, isn't it? And this would have had a thatched roof.
I just get the feeling it's not 100% original. It's been helped. It's been beautifully done, don't get me wrong, but I question whether it's the original cob. Do you think that's a clue?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? That's new, isn't it? So
this is probably new, isn't it?
So they've stabilised it is what they've done, isn't it?
They've done a beautiful job. It really gives you a good idea of what was here. Yeah. Oh, look at that in the sunshine.
Can you imagine living here though? How extreme it would be.
What a view.
Let's just show you the view. A very low lintel, duck underneath. Look at that.
I don't know how I'd feel if I was his wife, being left behind in the village whilst he went off fishing and just came back at weekends and then disappeared to Australia. perhaps it just worked for them. Perhaps the intention was that she was going to go out there and join him and something just went wrong. Anyway, lovely little setting. I bet that pumped out some heat. There's loads of trees up in the valley, so yeah, that would have kept him nice and warm and snug no matter what the weather in the cove.
I think I've sussed this out. So he went off to Australia.
Yes.
He must have remarried then, because if the relatives had come over from Australia 100 odd years later, or what is that? That would be 160, 70 years later, wouldn't it?
Oh my goodness me, they really didn't get on, did they?
No.
No. Unless he took a son or something with him.
Maybe. Mm.
The story! It could make a brilliant novel. Hello everybody.
Hello.
We're in a field, Andrew.
We are, aren't we? What do we do today, Sarah?
We've parked on a road in a lay-by. There's a reason for that, which we'll go into later. But it takes you straight into a field where there's some standing stones, the Merry Maidens here. We're quite close to Lamorna Cove, and from this point we're going to walk down to Lamorna. But before we do that, we've got to take a look at these, haven't we?
We have. Yeah, I'm really excited about today's walk.
So we're in a field with some standing stones, 19 standing stones to be precise. And the story goes that they were maidens that danced on the Sabbath, and for their discourteous disrespect of the Sabbath, they were turned to stone. It's one of the best examples of standing stones in West Cornwall.
It's beautifully preserved, isn't it?
It is, and it's deliberately has a gap. Now we've done a little bit of digging and a bit of reading, and the interesting thing about that gap, it's meant to, or they think in theory, it's meant to be like one of the old-fashioned torques or necklaces that the Bronze Age and Iron Age people used to wear, where they used to go a circle of metal, incomplete circle. So this book is Antiquities of West Cornwall, and here we have a drawing of a torque or piece of jewellery that went round the neck inside the plan of the Merry Maidens. It says the neck and the torque around it binds the body to the head, and in Iron Age times Roman writers recounted how the head was considered to be the place in which the human soul resided. Yet the ends of the circling metallic ornament did not quite meet. It would become a circle of immortality and potentially take the wearer to the other world by strangulation. And this was part of the pagan rituals, the European pagan rituals back then, that sacrificial victims were strangled. So hence you had a gap in the torque for fear of being taken into the other world. That's how it applies to the stone circle. There is a gap to allow the energies of the earth to flow, so that you had productive fields and you had a circle of life that was uninterrupted.
They're all different shapes, aren't they? Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Some are quite wide, some are almost like rounded, aren't they? That one over there I can see.
So they've been documented since about the 17th century as being here, and numbers 2 and 3 have fallen over and been put back into place.
Oh, they've actually numbered
time.
them. Okay.
Yeah, so you start at number 1.
Yeah.
This is number 2, and there's 19 in total. So the ones that are of note are number 2 and 3. 3 is thought to be the wrong way round.
It's that one, is
So
it?
they think it's been put up perpendicular to where it originally was. And
Okay.
the other interesting one is number 16,
Right.
which is over there. So it's not in the middle of the gap. The gap between 15 and 16 is smaller than the gap between 16 and 17. So I think they've been put back wrong.
Oh, okay.
So it should be here.
See what you mean.
We've just left the Merry Maidens, and always associated with Merry Maidens are pipers. So we're now looking for 2 really large stones nearby in a nearby field, and they're meant to be the pipers that, well, they played the pipes for the Merry Maidens to dance to.
Sarah, I need to do that thing I always forget to do.
What's that?
If you're enjoying today's video, then remember, please press the like button, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. It's free on YouTube.
Hooray!
Yay!
Yeah, we are a bit rubbish at saying that. Also, I don't know if you're aware, but we actually upload a video most Fridays. It goes live at 8 o'clock in the morning. We probably only miss 4 or 5 Fridays in a year. So if you like what we do, please subscribe and be around every Friday for a new video. Oh yeah! We can just make out one of the standing stones that's meant to be the pipers, but Lord knows how you get in there, is it? I mean, that's brambles up to your shoulders.
I don't think we're going to be coming back for a while, so I think we should go and have an investigate whilst we're here.
Alright, well I'm not keen. There's one there, and then there's another one in that field over there. So one is said to be 15 feet tall, and the other 13.5 feet. I don't think we're going to get close to them, unfortunately. Lots of boggy ground, had a lot of rain, so the field entrances are very muddy. Yeah, can't see it anymore. He's still looking. So there is another story about these standing stones. They're meant to be where the chieftains, Athelstan and Howl, and it's meant to mark where those chieftains stood in front of their tribes before they fought.
So I've just been down and I had a quick chat with the farmer.
Have you?
Yeah, farm, Bewley Farm.
Oh, yeah.
And it's on his land.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, no problem at all. He said he's quite happy for us to go in and have a little look.
Ah.
Yeah, so where we were a minute ago, that gate, that's the way in.
Oh, brilliant.
He said he doesn't mind if we climb over or if we try and undo the gate, whatever.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Let's go and do that then. It's way steep. Look at that. It is quite tall. Oh, I can see the other one. Let's go down here. Oh, wow. Yes. There's one and there's the other.
It's like a big hands, isn't it?
In a way, yeah. Is that just the way the lichen has kind of grown on it? Let me zoom in a little. How is this so exciting? Wow.
That one looks taller than this one.
Yeah.
We're going to have a look at this one first. That is huge.
As I was saying earlier, they think that this might be the spot where one chieftain stood, probably Howl, who was like a part of Cornwall that he was king of. I'm not quite sure which part, I think it was the west down this way. And then Athelstan, who was king of the Saxons at the time, was stood in the other spot. And they brought their armies together at this point, and there was a battle here.
So this is effectively where they were sort of eyeing each other up.
Yeah!
Yeah. Wow.
Apparently one of these fields is called Gwel Ruth, which means red field. And they've dug up the field, the soil isn't red, and there's no red flowers or anything that grow near here, so they think it's the red with the blood of the battle.
Gosh. I'm sure I read somewhere as well that they did dig up some old armour.
Yes, and
it's
disappeared, but
this is incredible.
It is, it's huge.
Do you know the size of that one?
One is 13.5 feet and one is 15 feet, so they're also some of the tallest stones from that era.
Oh, that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, we know what we've got to do now.
What?
Find the other one.
Oh. I can't get it all in frame. There we go.
How much of it actually goes into the ground?
Oh, they did excavate one.
Okay.
And they said 5 foot.
Okay.
Yeah.
What, 5 foot down, 15 foot up?
Yeah, I don't know if it's this one or the other one, but 5 foot into the ground.
So that's taller.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty sure. Wow.
So this would have been the English king.
The Saxon?
Yeah, Saxon king. Athelstan, and the other one would have been the Cornish king.
Come on then, you pasty munching sheep looking afterers, fishing folk. We'll have ye.
No, that's the Cornish.
Oh yeah, I'm in the wrong side.
Yeah.
I should be over there, didn't I?
Yeah.
So who won then?
Athelstan.
Oh. Sarah, let me show you one of my favourite little alleys. It's down this one. Come with me. view is beautiful, isn't it?
No, I think the more intrepid been down further. But I don't fancy that personally, see?
I'll give it a go.
Footprints. Yeah, from above it doesn't show how high those steps are. Well, actually, you're making it look easy. You're like a mountain goat.
Done it.
I'll look at the view when you filmed it. Smallest beach in Foy.
It's a private beach, it's all mine.
Standing room only.
I've got 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, he's gone.
It's 6 paces long. 2 wide.
6 by 2.
All I need. Perfect.
Gosh, look at that coming up now. Beautiful boat. Wow. So we haven't made it up to the main road yet, but I just love these 2 doors.
It's so old, aren't
2
they?
separate properties.
Yeah.
One onto the road and one onto the waterfront.
Isn't there a stone around that door though?
Yeah.
That is old, isn't it? It's been here for hundreds of years. What's behind the door? Who lives in a house like this?
The final bit, out to St Catherine's Castle. And it will make you puff. There are several steps and it is steep. Woo.
Welcome to St Catherine's Point. There have been many centuries of human activity here. Much of the evidence today lurks beneath undergrowth, but you can still explore the Tudor blockhouse and Second World War gun battery on the point.
On guard.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
Halt! Who goes there?
It feels so old, doesn't it?
Oh, you're not playing, are you? Hope you enjoyed that little compilation of quirky things in Cornwall. Your favourite?
I think I like the face, Merlin's face.
Oh, okay.
It's quite clever, isn't it? Unless you actually know it's there, it's easy to
Yeah,
walk by.
I agree. And something to add to that tactile experience. I hope you guys can hear us. We'll make this brief. I think our dog won't get over being used as a tape measure.
Oh yeah, well,
on Rattle Street.
that's what dogs are for.
And Merthyr Church, we kind of captured it for history, haven't we?
Yeah, it's quite a special place to go to. So I think we've tried to bring you our experience of some oddities and curiosities in Cornwall. If you've enjoyed today's video, help us out with the algorithm, give us a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. We try and bring you a video every week somewhere in Cornwall.
Which we're just about to go and film. So from the stack up here at the top of Cape Cornwall, we'll see you next week down in the cove. So until then, bye!
Bye!